Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go ahead and look at a First Amendment audit video from the channel Lackluster. Give them the support down below. And we want to kind of just go into the content, we're talking about this from the, because I know the auditing community talks about this from the audit perspective and the constitutionality of the laws. And then we can kind of discuss it from both the political, the constitutional, and the corruption that's all involved. It's very similar to everything else we're talking about, but these are people on the ground challenging the system by executing their rights. So let's get into this.
Who are you?
I'm not identifying myself. Thank
Not
you.
Adrian, where we see you? 609 10th Ray got a subject out here with a gun who is filming.
Doesn't appear
He's got a gun drawn on him, even though he's only filming.
Do what he needed to do with his phone and his gun.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. On February 12th of 2023, a viewer named Chad noticed a motor vehicle accident involving a police department vehicle and approached to film the scene.
I'm okay, thank you though.
What's going on, buddy?
Nothing, how are you? Rainy out today.
Yeah. Who are you?
I'm just standing here filming. I'm not involved with anything.
You're not involved?
No, thank you.
After notifying the officer that he wasn't involved, a second officer approaches and starts recording on his body cam. The first officer now tells the second that Chad has a weapon. But before we continue, I want to tell you about Babbel. One of the top has a few off your
On this area is open.
Who are you?
I'm not identifying myself. Thank
Not-
you.
Sir?
I do have a firearm.
Yeah. Sir, keep your hands where we can see you, okay? Keep your hands up. There's a firearm.
They
Okay?
are up.
Yes.
Keep your hands where we can see you. All
Well,
right?
an umbrella and a
609 10th Ray got a subject out
Right.
here passing town in Washington with a gun who is filming. He
suspect.
does have a
I'm on the
holster.
sidewalk.
He does not want to use that identification.
Just stay right there, okay?
No, but
Chad is now disarmed and detained.
Oh, there's a
There's
Second
no
Amendment
safety on that
violation.
firearm, just so
so
you
why
know.
did you come up on the scene and
I'm on the public sidewalk.
yeah, but you have a firearm. You say you're not going to identify
I'm allowed to
yourself.
open carry.
Here, hold this.
Okay, but you didn't. What you trying to
There
do?
goes the Fourth Amendment
Wow.
and First
Chad's
Amendment.
phone stops recording as he is cuffed, and despite the fact that he never approached an officer, never used any threatening or disparaging language, and never indicated signs of aggressive behavior, the officer sees his person and property and arrests his right to film the scene. And now, with his rights thoroughly violated, an officer finally has the sense to ask whether he has a permit to carry the weapon.
Do you have a permit, sir, to carry?
Yes, I do.
Permit
Actually, that you should see that.
through where?
It's in my pocket right.
Just so you know, you're being audio video recorded.
Okay.
What's your problem, bud?
I just wanted to come out here and record. That's all.
Everybody okay where
There's no marking on the sidewalk or anything.
Are you lost?
Pretty lost.
Okay.
609, you can go ahead and lift this 10-3. Make sure people hold our crime scenes. Doesn't appear this guy's related, but just wanted to come here and do what he needed to do with his phone and his gun.
10-4, unit still hold the crime scene authority 609 10-3, license 2100 out.
Do you have one in Maryland?
Yeah. That's the Maryland party slippers.
Just pat him down. Make sure there's no other additional guns on you. Do you have any additional guns on you, sir?
No fire.
Any type of weapons on you? Anything?
I don't believe I have a pocket knife or anything, no.
Okay. All right, you guys hold. I'm going off.
My name is Gabby.
You're going off. That's
I
pretty
live in New
sad.
York City and I work in SE.
Chad is a legal and lawful handgun permit holder in Maryland, and there is no duty to inform in Maryland if you are carrying a firearm, concealed, or even open carry. Chad ensured the weapon was visible, and after 2 officers held him at gunpoint, he informed them that he had a permit for the weapon, but despite his cooperation, the officers took his identification and ran it along with the serial number on his pistol, though he was never told why he was being detained. It took the officers 90 minutes to run his information and release him, and during this time, they took his umbrella and forced him to stand handcuffed in the cold while it rained. Chad asked multiple times to be placed in a vehicle to escape the elements, but despite his innocence of any wrongdoing, the officers forced him to withstand the weather as their detainee, against his will, until he was released and had his possessions returned to him, after which the lieutenant on scene verified that his actions were legal prior to clearing the scene. Chad has spoken to an attorney, but so far he's been told that there's nothing he can do about the behavior of tyrants in the 21st century. This incident happened just a few blocks from a recent interaction featuring Long Island Audit, and just a hop, skip, and a jump away from an incident I featured recently, where Maryland officers couldn't tell the difference between a rifle, a short-barreled rifle, and a pistol. Check out that video using the links below. But before you go, please note that the laws regarding weapons have obvious life and death implications, which should make them some of the most important for a law enforcement officer to understand. But time and time again, we continue to find law enforcement officers that are completely ignorant of the laws they are charged with enforcing.
1 Edward Charlie 5-8.
I don't care about the law.
Nope.
It's not about the law. I mean, it's okay for them to have a gun, but not you.
Right.
That's what it is. We have guns because we're trained. They don't know his record. They don't know his training. He could have been a former Green Beret or Marine or what have you. He could have been Special Forces. The guy could have been former law enforcement. They don't know. Right. And it might be a firearms instructor. And right. And then they act like just immediately because he's practicing his right as an American citizen to have a firearm on him, not threaten it while his hands are full with an umbrella and a camera in the other hand in a rainstorm. Then what do? They immediately proceed to squash his rights. And then what happens? Talks to an attorney and goes, well, there's really nothing we can do about it,
That was a bad attorney, because I've seen attorneys willing to go to the fight, and actually do something.
Yeah, well, it's let me tell you something. They get a lot of pressure when they're willing to do that fight, and I'm sure. I mean, I remember up at the Bundy trial up in Oregon, when their attorney at that time was protesting that they were illegally detaining the Bundys in the courtroom, and the U.S. Marshals in the courtroom tased Bundy's attorney, and it dropped him right to the floor, tased him and cuffed him. Yeah, in the floor of the courtroom, right in front of the judge's bench. There's video on it. And I have I got to tell you, is if law enforcement abides by the law, abides by the Constitution, hey, I'm with you, and I support you 100%. But the minute they step outside, they're nothing more than a criminal.
And most
just like they would treat us.
Right, and most of them all step outside of it.
Yeah,
well, I would say if there's for every good cop, there's 12 bad cops, and that one good cop isn't going to say anything about the bad cops, so he's complicit.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Is they are complicit, like the FBI whistleblowers, and we're all gonna quit. If Hillary wasn't charged or whatever that deal was back several years ago.
Yep.
How many of them quit? I mean, there are a lot of talk until the rubber hits the road, and then it's job protection.
Yep.
And for most, I mean, there's a few that do. I know an officer who got fired out in Nevada for actually sticking up for me and some others. And I mean, it happens. The BLM special investigator who was saying that the Bureau of Land Management was lying, so was the FBI on the Bunkerville deal with the Bundys. He got demoted and sent. All of his paperwork was taken away, and he was a whistleblower that came out. A BLM agent, special investigator, came out, and he's the one who blew the case open, so that so many of those cases got dropped later. A little late for some, but he did anyways. But there's very few. You don't hear enough of it because that's what happens to them. They end up getting blackballed, and they don't want to lose their job. and their job's more important than doing their job.
Yep. All right, guys, if you like this kind of content, comment, like, and subscribe. Tell us what you think in the in the comment section down below, and we'll see you guys on the next one.